Hey, it's your girl Lisa Denae, and we are getting started. Lisa Denae Live starts now. Please join into the discussion. The discussion tonight is No More Black Widows. This is definitely a show dedicated to all my beautiful Black sisters. I want you to know that I love you, I'm here for you, and let's get into this discussion. So, this show tonight is a very special show where I wanted to talk to my beautiful, wonderful Black sisters. Now, before I get started, I definitely want to make sure that everybody knows that some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight I'm not talking about all Black women. I'm talking about a specific group of us. And believe me, you know who you are. When I get into discussion, when you feel that I'm talking to you, get in, join in the discussion. I have put the link to the show in the comments. So if you want to join the show on camera, there's the link. Click on the link and you can be part of the show and you can be on camera with me. And let's talk about this. So, first, I want to say to my beautiful sisters, I love you so much. You are so powerful. You are more powerful than you can ever imagine. And we need to understand that throughout history, everything has been done. There's been this great movement to objectify us, demoralize us, make us less than, to make us feel that we're less powerful than we are by making us objects, by making our value be attached to our appearance. And we know, everybody knows that most women nowadays feel like they're more valuable if they look better than another woman, or if they have better hair, they have a better body shape. This has all been orchestrated. This has been done by the powers that be, the males, our socialization, our culture that tells us that our value is wrapped up into our appearance. So, in that respect, yes, a lot of us have been damaged. We have been scarred. We have been put in positions to be used and abused, rejected, or accepted based on how we look. And so sometimes we don't put a whole lot of emphasis into our personal development, whether it be spiritual, mentally, or intellectually. Tonight, I want to talk to my sisters because I want you to know that we are powerful and we are very much better together. The topic tonight is called No More Black Widows. The reason why I wanted to name that topic, hey, Nikki Jones, hey, Sheila, the reason why I named it that is because I've been studying a lot about Black widow spiders. And I think we all know about them. They are known to kill their mates and to devour and eat their mates after mating. Now, once again, I'm not talking about all sisters, but I can say I'm talking to those of us who are powerful sisters. Some of us have powerful spiritual gifts. We have a powerful tongue. Some of us are verbal assassins. And you never, ever want to get into a discussion argument with some of us because our tongues are powerful. They are sharp and they are swords, and we can cut you down with words better than we ever could do physically. And if you're one, just say, hey, it's me, just say ouch or whatever. But we know I'm talking to you, the powerful ones of us who have perhaps not yet received our full healing. I'm talking to you. I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Now, black widow spiders have been known to mate, and when they mate, after they mate with the male counterpart, they eat them. It's called sexual cannibalism. So they eat and devour their mates. This is what they do. Now, most of the time, this is only done in a lab setting because out in the wild, the mate, when they mate, the male spider gets away. In lab settings, they cannot get away. So that lets you know it's environmental. And a lot of that is environmental with us as Black women. It is our environment. Some of us have been taught, some of us have grown up in a household of women and have been taught how to use our tongues, and we have become verbal assassins like the best of them. I mean, you do not want to get into it with us. So, what happens? A lot of times we kill the spirit of our men. Now, once again, I want to let you know I'm not talking about all of us. Some of us are healed, some of us are developed, some of us do not do that. But I'm talking about the ones of you, and a lot of you know who you are. I can talk about it because it used to be me. Those of us who will devour. a man. Those of us whose tongues is so sharp and so powerful. We speak sometimes out of our hurt and out of our pain and out of the things we've been through that we have not yet healed from. And you can kill the spirit of a man. Now, yes, I'm not talking about being in an abusive relationship where you're being abused and you're having to defend yourself or stand up for yourself. And I think that if you fit in this category, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those of us who wield our power and we go from mate to mate. You leave a trail of bodies. I can talk about it because it used to be me. You will leave a trail of bodies. A man eater is what they call them. Now, once again, I know this exists in other races as well. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about us. And the reason why I'm talking about us is because sometimes we don't realize who we are. Who are we? We are not only life givers, we are life sustainers. No one else can bring forth life and sustain life but a woman. But we have allowed our gift of life giving to be perverted into the point where we are life takers. Sometimes a certain woman can snatch the life out of every situation. And a lot of times, just by your words, sometimes a woman can snatch the life out of every situation by your attitude, by your mannerisms, your behavior, your lack of consideration. And a lot of times, words unsaid are just as damaging as words said. So, what does it hurt you to say a positive word to your mate? What does it hurt you to say building words instead of tearing down words? If we weren't in this Black widow situation, not all of us again, but a lot of us, we would not be seeing what we are seeing. We are seeing a lot of men that are bruised, damaged. And once you get them, you realize they're already hurt, they're already damaged, they're already broken. And then you have to do some sort of resuscitation. Hey, Nikki Jones, you have to do some sort of resuscitation to try to revive them. That is the power that we do have. Yes, you have the power to revive and to bring back life. But who I'm talking to tonight is those that you have the power to destroy. And, it sounds funny. And sometimes we brag on it. Have you ever heard a woman say, oh, they don't want none of this? They don't want this smoke because I can tear you down. By the time I get done with you, you're not even going to know who you are. That is the wrong use of your power. And we do that way too much. We have become the Black widow. Now, I want to say this. A lot of women find themselves single in a season where they feel like they should have a mate. Well, I want to talk about the spider again. Black widow spiders cannot attract mates when they have already killed a previous mate. There is a chemical that is given off in the web. Mates will not go there. It is the same thing. When you have already killed the spirit of a man, there is almost a sense like a man can tell when you are one of those women that's going to kill his spirit. Sometimes your conversation, sometimes your criticisms, the way that you handle a man. And again, I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about those of us who may have not been taught properly how to build up, but we definitely know how to tear down. We have to be the change that we want to see. We have to learn how to use our power to bring life, not take life. And that's what Black widows do. After they get what they get out of their mate, they devour them, they eat them alive, and they destroy them. And what we need to understand is that if we do that to our men, we bring children into the world and then continue that cycle of beating down your children with your words, beating down your children with your behavior and your mannerisms. If you are a woman over 40, you have encountered plenty of men, especially Black men, whose mothers have called them out of their names routinely, who have disrespected them routinely as children and as adults. And so, what are they creating for you? What are they creating for you and I? A whole nation of bitter, mistreated men who have been mistreated by who? Their mother. Who have been called out of their name by who? Their mother. Who have been devoured, their spirits destroyed and broken by who? Their mother. So by the time we get them, I mean, they're already destroyed. And even if you don't mean any harm, everything that you say can be construed as an attack. But we do have the power to uplift them, to heal them, to restore life. And this is what we should be focused on, ladies, not destroying life, not killing their spirit, but building their spirits up, and the power to build life and not destroy life. And so when I say no more Black widows, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those of us who have learned how to use the words that we have to destroy. Now, when we talk about a broken spirit, I don't know if you can see this, but these are some of the characteristics of a broken spirit. An unstable, a person with unstable emotions. How many times have you dated someone whose emotions are completely unstable? They're 1 minute they are up and the next minute they are down. They are completely unstable emotions. Well, that's a sign of a broken spirit when their emotions are unstable. Another sign of a broken spirit is showing no emotions. Now, most of the time when you deal with a person like this, the only emotions they can show is rage. So there's not much you can do with that person but try to heal, show love and uplift their spirits. The other sign is um, always defensive. Now, I don't know about you, but I have encountered a lot of people who are always defensive. Everything that you say is seen as an attack, and they are always defensive. Don't show emotion, constant negative attitude, always defensive, low self esteem, feelings are easily hurt, possessive, and always criticizing. These are some of the traits of a man with a broken spirit. Now, I know, ladies, we have had our spirits broken as well. So don't make it, I don't want you to make it seem like they're the only ones who experience a broken spirit. Of course we do, but we have the power. This is what it's all about. We have the power to heal. There is a healing spirit within us. We are mothers, and whether you had a child naturally or not, you come here with the spiritual gifts of nurturing and healing and giving and sustaining life. If we are not using that, then we're doing the opposite. If we are not sustaining life, what are we doing? And if you purposely become the type of woman who uses your words and knows how to cut somebody down and are always ready for a confrontation, then yes, that's you. You are a Black widow. You are the type of person that will eat and devour your mate. And we have seen it and we have lived it. I'm going to testify to you about myself. That's the reason why I wanted to do this broadcast, because God spoke to me about my own behavior. I was the type of person that I'm going to get you before you get me. I knew my power. Of course I did. I know my power of seduction. I know my power to attract a man. I know my power to gain a man. But I also know my power that when I'm done with him, I know how to destroy him. No, that's nothing to be happy about. No, that's nothing to brag about. That is the reason why God had to sit me down and talk to me about the spider, the Black widow, how when then she lures this web and she gains this attention of the mate to get what she wants out of the male spider. And then she wraps him up in her web and she eats him alive. She destroys him. And she waits for the next mating season for the next victim. And I'm very grateful that the Spirit spoke to me, because that was me. Yes, I have been known to leave a trail behind me. Why? Because I was not fully healed, because I was bitter, because I was sad about what had happened to me in past relationships. And that's why we need to heal. We cannot continue to be Black widows. We have to bring life, not snatch life out of a situation. And especially when you have been taught religion. Sometimes religion and not relationship with God will have you being this type of Black widow, this type of woman who the only thing you really know how to do is bite and devour someone. Bite and devour your mate, destroy their confidence, destroy their spirit, destroy their self esteem, not with just your words, your deeds, with the lack of being grateful, the lack of gratitude, the lack of showing love. These things can kill a person's spirit and traumatize them. By the time they get with someone else, they're totally destroyed. They're no good for anybody. And so this is why I wanted to talk about this. In addition to the whole Black Widow situation with the Black Widow spiders, we need to understand that our children, our young women are watching us. They are watching us. That's why you see a culture of women who only want a man for what he could do for them. This is the same syndrome. What can you do for me? It's not anymore of what can we do for each other? What can we build together? It's what can you do for me? And if you can't do anything for me, then I have no use for you. Then whatever you can do for me, I'm going to get what I can get out of you, and then I'm going to bite and devour you. This is what we have turned into. This is the culture that we have created. And sometimes it's hard to admit our faults. But I will say this: your words are powerful. Your words can bring life or end life. And sometimes we are very proud of the fact that we know how to use our tongues, and our tongues can be very, very sharp. So I just want to encourage you, my sisters. I just want to encourage you. Let's end this tendency of be a Black widow. Let's end this tendency to gain the attention of a man, to use our powers of seduction, to use our sexuality to lure them in. But the minute something does not go our way, we bite and devour them. We literally kill their spirits. And when you are dealing with a man, especially in a public setting, and you are disrespectful, you have to understand that that can trigger a man, especially if his mother treated him that way. Now, again, I know I've heard all the things about men and how they're abusive. Black men have become disrespectful. I understand that. I can only speak to us. I can only speak to the women because I'm a woman. I can't speak to the responsibilities of the men, but I can speak to the responsibilities of us sisters, what we need to do. If you are that type of woman like I used to be, that knows how to use your tongue and be sharp with it and cut somebody to the white meat, what you need to do is learn how to reverse that. Learn how to use your tongue to give life. It's not easy, especially when you've been raised a certain way, especially when you've been hurt. And most of the time, you're just defending yourself. It is not easy, but it does take practice. And a lot of times, we need to heal before we go into other relationships. We need to heal and heal fully so that we don't take that bitterness into our relationships. I want to say a couple more things about the Black Widow syndrome and the Black Widow spider in the world of spiders in nature. Black widow spiders, they do come in male or female, but only the females are toxic. Only the females contain venom that is toxic. And this is what I'm saying when it comes to Black women. Let us not be toxic. Let us not be venomous, not only just to our men, but to each other. Let us use our words to build up and not tear down. We all know that we can have some venom deep inside of us. And a lot of times it's the bitterness and the pain. And I can say, yes, it is not easy being a Black woman. It is very difficult. Around every corner, there is someone telling you you're not pretty enough, not thin enough, light enough, not dark enough, not smart enough, not hood enough. So, yes, it is very difficult being a Black woman. But don't allow that bitterness to become your venom that is toxic and kills everything around you. In 2020, we have seen a lot of death. We have seen a lot of death and a lot of destruction. Don't let the death and destruction be at your account. Don't let the death and destruction be caused by your tongue. Don't let the death and destruction be caused by your behavior. Even the things we post on social media. And I know men do it too. Again, I'm not speaking on them, I'm speaking on us because we have the power to change the nation. And I know it might sound like a big, lofty goal, but we can do it, women. We are very, very powerful. Even the things you post. If you don't think there's no good men out there, don't post that. Because when you speak it into existence, maybe there isn't. You want to post life giving things or don't post anything at all. Everything we do can bring life or destroy life. It can bring life or not. It can sustain life or it can end life. And this is what I'm saying to us, my sisters. Let's use our powers for good. Let's use our words for good. If you've been hurt, get your healing. Chase after your healing like you chase after your next meal. chase after your healing so that you don't become one of these venomous black widows like I used to be. These women who want to be loved, but in something inside of you that just cannot allow yourself to properly receive love. And so you devour your mates, even in times when you want to show love and you want to say, baby, thank you for what you did. You will probably find yourself being critical or saying, well, you could have did this or you could have said that. Or even when a man compliments you, yeah, okay, whatever, what you want. We have to really work on ourselves to change that. We can no longer have this black widow syndrome of biting and devouring, destroying, killing the spirits of our men. I talked earlier about the signs of a broken spirit. And when you see these signs of a broken spirit, what you have to do is be intentional about healing, helping them receive their healing and helping them build themselves up. Yes, we need to be built up too. That's why we have to be involved in sisterhood. That's why we have to lift each other up. Now, I'm saying no more black widows because I can lead the charge. I could be the president, okay, of the Black Widow Club. I know that I am guilty as charged. I have definitely been a person who have used my powers for evil. I have used my powers of seduction. I've used my words. I have been very hurtful with a lot of things that I have said and done to men. But it took the Holy Spirit to sit me down and talk to me and help me to understand you cannot call yourself righteous. You cannot feel like you're going to reap good when you're sowing bad. You have to show love. You have to sustain life. We are life givers and life sustainers, not killers and murderers. But you and I know, you can murder somebody with your tongue. You can kill a person's spirits with your words and your deeds and your actions. And should be so mindful, sisters, about the things we say and the way we say them. When a man encounters you, and when you encounter a man, let's learn how to show respect. Let's learn how to, if you can't say anything positive in the encounter, do not engage. Yes, sometimes there are men that come to you wrong, come to you twisted and disrespectful. Don't engage at all. Don't engage. Let's not get into tit for tat. That's the reason why we have these dating situations where it feels like I got to convince you that I'm a good person. I got to audition for the right to date you. I got to show you I'm not like the other women. Why? Because we already come to these situations against each other. We already come into these situations where men feel like they have to defend themselves. We all know of a situation, incident that happened not too long ago with Megan Thee Stallion. And she posted something that said, Black women are the most unprotected. Well, I would agree to that to some extent. But let's be honest about ourselves as well. Let's be honest about what we do and what we are. Do we seem like we need protection at times? Some of us, yes. Well, some of us seem like they need to be protected from us. Let's just keep it real. Some of us, we will devour anybody that comes into our path, friend or foe, family member or otherwise. So we have to change that narrative. We have to allow our men to feel safe around us. Are we providing safe environments even for our friends? Let's keep it real, sisters. And y'all, please talk back to me. Let's keep it real. Do you really feel safe? Have you felt safe, even amongst your friends? Have you felt safe when you may have misspoken a situation and got cut down to the core by your sister or someone in your sisterhood? Because we have to learn how not to kill and devour each other. Let's be life givers. Let's be life sustainers. Let's stop with the verbal murders and let's stop with being verbal assassins. Again, I can speak on it because this is what I used to do. And I can still pull it out. Let's keep it all the way real when I need to. I can still pull it out. I'm at the ready with my sword. But I'm learning, and I hope that you will go on this journey with me. That is the reason why I started this, and I'm going to continue to do a series on this and hopefully interview some people who have struggled with this as well, because I know it can't just be me. I know it's not just me. A lot of us women, we have gotten into these situations where we have become toxic and we have become bitter because either our childhood trauma or whatever we have been through in bad relationships, we become so toxic that yes, we do destroy our mates. We kill them. We kill their spirits. We kill their self-esteem. We kill all hope they have for any future because we are toxic. We have become toxic and bitter and hurt people hurt people. We all know that, but there is a way out of this. My sisters, there is a way out. We have to support each other, but we have to call it like it is. We can't act like this doesn't happen, and we can't act like we're not guilty. I'm going to be honest about the fact that I am guilty. I'm extremely guilty of this. That's the reason why I could speak on it. And I hope that I can get some more women to join me on this, to talk about this phenomenon of this Black Widow syndrome that we have begun to have in our community, where we put so much venom into our relationships with our friends, our family, our mates, and we are so powerful. Have you ever been somewhere and just one person can change the whole energy of the situation and everybody ready to go when she come there? That's power. That's power when you can change the whole energy and suck all the life out the room. But it's not the right type of power. That is indeed the Black Widow syndrome, where you can bite and devour any and everybody that comes into your web. And we need to stop that. We cannot continue on that way. We have to stand up and stand with each other, correct each other. I'm grateful that I have friends that correct me or tried to correct me. I didn't listen at the time, but when the Holy Spirit spoke to me and allowed me to see where my wrong was and allowed me to see that I was devouring people, literally killing people's spirit. If you do not like a man or if you don't want him, disengage. Don't use somebody as something to do. That's not right. If you're bored, or I'm just going to deal with him because I'm bored, I don't have nothing else to do, that's still a person. That is still a person with feelings, and they have nothing to do with the last person that hurt you. And if you already know he's not your type, don't wait until you get in an argument and say, I don't like big men anyway. I don't like, you don't got no money. Those words are powerful and those words hurt. However you say it, maybe you don't say it like that, but however you say it, if you are not uplifting, you are tearing down. If you're not giving and sustaining life, you are taking life and you are destroying and you are unleashing that man on the next woman. And so we are creating this vicious cycle of women who just are devourers, who are just verbal assassins, who continually just abuse everyone that comes into their path. And yes, we want to talk about domestic violence, but do we talk about verbal abuse? Because if we talk about verbal abuse, I think a lot of people would have to be quiet. A lot of women would have to be quiet because we are known for using that mouthpiece. We are known for being able to just cut you down verbally. And this is the Black Widow syndrome that I'm talking about. This is what we must stop. We cannot continue to be these verbal assassins and these Black Widow spiders that devour everybody that come into our web. We can attract all types. We can attract and seduce them and bring them into our presence. But once they get there, look out. It's dangerous for them. And we have to learn how to love ourselves back to health. That's all I'm here to do, is to love on my sisters like I've been loving on myself, to bring myself back to health. This is not what God has intended for us. God did not intend us to bite and devour our mates. God did not intend for us to be dangerous to be around. Dangerous for a man to trust his heart with you because he don't know what is coming out of his going to come out your mouth when you get mad. We do not want that. This is not going to be good. This is not a good end for us. This is not a good beginning or a good end. We cannot help our community if we continue to be devourers and destroyers. We have to put that energy toward our enemies. And our men, our children are not our enemies. Even if sometimes they look like our enemies, even if sometimes they treat us like they are our enemies. They are not our enemies. And we have to stop with this behavior of biting and devouring and destroying them, especially with our words. And some women, y'all know I'm talking to you. If you know you've done this, some of us put our hands on them. Now, you know that's out of line. You know that's out of line. But the first one to cry when a man put his hands back on you, you have no right. Nobody has their right to put their hands on nobody else. Nobody. And then my other problem is when you use your words to provoke. You can provoke your children. You can provoke your mate by using your words. And for whatever reason, we have been so trained to talk that talk. We can cut you down in 30 seconds flat, and we can have you looking for your life because you don't know, you really don't know what just happened. So we have to use that in another way, sisters. Let's retrain ourselves. Let's learn how to talk sweet and nice and kind to one another, especially our men and especially our children. Let's get away from this Black Widow syndrome of destroying and devouring each other. This is not how we were intended to be. Hey, Sheila, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Miss Betty, thank you so much for tuning in and for your comments. And hopefully you guys will share this video, share the message. We need to get this out. We really do not need to continue on this path of being proud of the fact that we can verbally destroy someone, being proud of the fact that we can break someone's spirit and kill their self-esteem, because this is not good. This is a syndrome. This is what I've named it, the Black Widow syndrome, based on the Black Widow spider that lures the mate in and devours him and destroys him and literally eats him alive. And that is what somehow we have learned to do. Yes, it's a side effect of things that we have been through. Yes, it's a side effect of the bitterness and some of the pain that we have endured, but it has created toxic venom within us so that every time you speak out of anger, it's venomous and you are literally killing someone with your words. You are destroying their spirit. And I just want to encourage us to be mindful and be no more of these Black widows. Don't lure people into your presence and make them feel like you love them and devour them with your words. This is something that we have seen. We see it from generation to generation. Some people hate going over their family's house for Christmas. Why? Because the words that are going to come from their mothers, their aunties, their cousins, the women in their family. We have to do better. Black women, we have to do better. We have to get rid of this Black Widow syndrome where we are devourers and destroyers. And we need to use our words. Now, how do we do that? You have to start by evaluating everything that's coming out of your mouth. Evaluate everything that's coming out of your mouth. Hey, Miriam. Yes, venomous and like daggers. Yes, indeed. And sometimes very much proud of it. We have to evaluate everything that comes out of our mouth. If it is not uplifting, if it's not life-giving, it is not life-sustaining, don't say it. Even if you're feeling attacked, remove yourself, disengage. You don't have to continue in with the interaction at all. We do not want to have blood on our hands. And right now, ladies, a lot of us, myself included, I have blood on my hands because, like I said earlier in the broadcast, I have a trail of bodies behind me in my life. I have a trail. And I don't got skeletons in my closet. I got people, I got bones in my closet with meat on them. Okay. It ain't no skeletons. It's fresh. That's the reason why I can say this message. That's the reason why I can share this, because I know I'm guilty. It was the leading of the Holy Spirit that showed me you cannot continue to assassinate people's spirits. You cannot continue to gain a person's trust only to destroy them. You cannot do that because you reap what you sow. Thank you so much, Miss Betty. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I thank you for your support. I'm just wanting to do the leading. I want to follow the leading of the Spirit because I know what I have been taught. I know what the Spirit is leading me in, that you cannot expect to continue devouring and destroying people with your words and expect somebody good to come into your life. You are bringing in bad energy into your life. And like I said, if you don't know what to say, don't say anything. But don't get into the point where you got a trail of bodies behind you like me. but you are a Black widow. You have become a woman who have embodied the Black widow syndrome. And again, for the ones that are just tuning in, this syndrome means the woman that is able to seduce and attract and gain the attention of men and gain them into her lair and pull them into her web, only to bite and devour and destroy them when she A, don't get her way, B, feel attacked, or C, just tired of them and don't want them no more. This is the Black widow syndrome. And yes, it sounds horrible, but a lot of us have been guilty. And I'm not ashamed to say I've been guilty of it, but I feel like it is my duty and it is my obligation to talk about this, because this is what the Spirit has led me to understand. You cannot use your words. You cannot use your words to kill a person's spirit and feel like that is okay. You cannot use your words, mothers, to destroy the self-esteem and self-confidence of your children and then wonder why they are acting out. Because if you call them stupid, if you call them dumb, if you say you look just like your ugly ass daddy, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think they're going to behave when you speak in anger? The energy that you get off, you are devouring. You are a destroyer. You are not a life giver. You are not a life sustainer, but that's what you were brought here to this earth to do, to bring life and to sustain life. But we have allowed these toxins to grow into our spirit, and we have a body, a spiritual body full of venom. And every time you come into an interaction, your venom is going into that person's spirit. You are venomous. And yes, it sounds horrible, but I have to keep it real because this is what is going on. And most of us know it. We may not be ready to receive it or believe it, but most of us know it. And it is our duty to help each other to relearn and to stop and to learn a new way to communicate with each other, even when you are upset. Don't call people out of their names, especially your children, especially your mate. Do not call people out of their names. Do not attack people, their physical appearance. If you don't like the way they look, don't deal with them. You know, you and I both know that's one of the main things you go to when you get mad with somebody. You attack their physical appearance, you attack their character, you attack their family, you attack them. And this is the Black widow syndrome. So I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in and for listening. I'm going to have some more shows about this where I'm going to interview some ladies, and I want to talk to the ladies that have had this syndrome, like myself, where you knew there was sometimes in your spirit where you actually wanted to be nice, but it wasn't in you. It just wasn't in you. You wanted to say something nice, but something bad came out. It just wasn't in you. And when you felt attacked, you really unleashed the beast. If you want to be on the show next time and talk about your experiences, I really want to have you. I want to talk more about this topic because we have to learn how to bring life back into our communities. We are the ones, women. We are the ones. We are the chosen ones to revive our men and revive our children. Can't nobody do it but us. I need you to understand. Can't nobody do it but us. But we cannot revive them when we are killing them, when we are destroying them with our words and our deeds and our behaviors. So once again, if you would like to be on the show, if you would like to talk about this Black widow syndrome, I would love to have you. Please holler at me on Facebook, Instagram under Lisa Denae. I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your comments, and I will see you all next week. Bye.